Welcome to Top Whiskeys. If you like whiskey or you'd like to like whiskey, you're in the right place. And this week we're doing a really interesting tasting. This is a Jameson from the Jameson Caskmates series, which is a really interesting idea or interesting concept that Jameson's doing. They've put out 3 of these so far. This one is the third in this Caskmate series. What's cool about these, or what makes them unique from the traditional Jameson, is that these have been finished in some kind of beer cask. So in this case, it's been finished in a West Coast IPA, specifically Shapeshifter from Fourpure. And what they do, so they take their regular, traditional Jameson whiskey, but rather than just putting it straight into the bottle, they put it into a barrel that's had a beer finish, or a barrel that will give it a beer finish. And that's going to change the taste. So I thought this would be a really interesting video to try these two side by side, take the original Jameson and see how it's been changed by the Shapeshifter IPA from Fourpure. The thing is, what would make the video really good is if I had a bottle of Fourpure Shapeshifter IPA. So yeah, I could try the Jameson original, I could try what the whiskey's become, I could try the beer, all side by side and see how the flavors have changed. The problem is that Fourpure is a craft brewery, so I can't just pop around the corner and, pick up a bottle of it. Although what I could do
change here for Jubilee Line and National Rail Services.
totally worth it. So here we are at Fourpure. This is the place to try this beer straight. They made it downstairs. This is their West Coast IPA, and I'm really excited to do this. So now we can have a proper tasting of the Jameson Caskmate. So here we've got the original Jameson. This is the Jameson Caskmate. As you can see, color-wise, they're exactly the same, so color hasn't changed. But on the nose of the regular Jameson, it's very clean, very sort of clinical. And I don't mean that in a bad way, it's just, it's a nice, light whiskey. But if we compare the nose here, it's much, much more complex. It's giving you a lot more, because it has much more fruit coming through. And if I just nose the beer, you can see exactly why. So nosing these, they are very genuinely, these two are really quite similar on the nose. And interestingly enough, this is very different than this. I mean, they'd almost smell like they're completely different whiskeys. But the proof, as they say, is in the tasting. So let's give that a try. So on the palate, traditional Jameson is very light. It's got some flavors to it. It doesn't have loads of body, but that's okay because that's not really what you're looking for in Jameson. It's a very nice, easy drinking whiskey. It's got a short, simple finish. It's a nice whiskey. Now let's try the Caskmate. So it's really interesting because so on the nose, these smelled like they're completely separate whiskeys, but on the palate, they're actually very similar. So I think the structure of the two whiskeys is certainly the same family. They're both very light-bodied whiskeys. The finish for both of them, I think, is still simple and in short, and they feel the same in the mouth. The body is very similar, but the flavor of the Jameson Caskmate is completely different. you've got much more fruit coming through. You've got a lot of sort of pineapple notes. It's really interesting to have a whiskey that has such a light body but still delivers some really interesting fruity flavors. And I reckon they are the same flavors that are in this beer. This is so cool to try these two side by side because you can really see how this beer has influenced the flavor of this whiskey. However, the structure of the Caskmate from Jameson is very much traditional Jameson. But this is a great example of the influence that the wood finishing has on the final flavor of the whiskey. Cool experiment. If you get the opportunity, I definitely recommend giving this a try. These are not expensive whiskeys. I think they're both good whiskeys and they're worth trying for the experiment, particularly if you're someone that is interested in expanding your whiskey knowledge and you want to know how wood and how oak impacts the flavor of whiskey. This is absolutely what you should be doing. So really enjoyable. Remember to follow and subscribe to Top Whiskeys. We do whiskey content every week. Thanks for watching.